Say something.
Hello. Hello.
I think as long as it goes through there, we should be fine.
Hello. Okay.
As long as it goes through there, then we're fine. Yeah, whatever. I think we're good. So let's do some video. Let's do this Facebook really quick. We're telling your followers that you started a live video. So like, if I just do that. Do you think yours has a built-in compressor? Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe, baby.
Okay.
No, because it's even cutting out on there.
Hello. 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 Okay. Second. Hello. Hello. Coming through?
Yeah, you gotta watch it over there. Duct tape is always our friend. What up, Sal?
Hello. Oops.
You just dropped your phone.
All right.
You want to just say fuck it and wing it?
Do it.
Whatever cuts off, it cuts off.
Sure.
All right, we'll just do that. And so, how much for a gold show? You're disgusting. So, welcome everybody. First episode of the new podcast. And yeah, it's called Verbally Harassed. Finally decided to do this. Joined by my buddy Spencer.
Hello, everyone.
And we're live on Facebook, not Facebook, actually we're on Instagram. We're trying to go live on YouTube, but we're having a little bit of problems with the YouTube thing. So I guess we're just going to do a little bit of Instagram. Maybe just keep it going like that, you know? I'll just move it from side to side from time to time. I guess that'll work, right?
That will work.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so just in case we get any little technical difficulties in the videos and stuff like that, yeah.
Just read my lips.
We're working on it, man. We're working on it. So this is the first one, so we're just trying to get things going. But look at us, professional. We have headphones on. Oh, headphones. I've never done
microphones.
Microphones, everything, man. So I've never had headphones on the podcast. So I feel like a baller with bad lighting.
Like a boss.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How everything going with you?
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Week or so.
Just life in general, pretty much.
Life in general.
Yeah. Anything new as far as music wise? Because I mean, as anybody knows Spencer, we used to be in a band together. Well, are you still doing See the Beauty?
Yeah, CP is still going on. We've been releasing a couple new tracks, and seems like everybody's reacting to those pretty good. So.
But now, as far as that though, are you guys gonna be planning like to have any vocals or anything like that as far as music?
Hopefully. Right now we're just taking it one step at a time. You know, there's a lot of music that we had over the years that we've written, and I guess we kind of got tired of waiting around. You know, we've been a band for years, and we want to just get it out there, you know? So that's what we're doing.
Some of that good old-fashioned baby making music.
You know it.
Yeah, so for everyone that knows, I used to be in the band. I used to play bass. See the Beauty. It was fun. Probably the most, I want to say, intellectual type of music I've ever played, because it was very like diverse and there was so much going on with this, so it was very fun compared to all the metal that I used to play, because I used to play a lot of metal, a lot. I remember in high school playing bands like Dying Fetus and Decapitated and just stuff like that, like it's fast grind stuff, to just punkish stuff. And then I was in a Toast of the Gods, which is like Southern. And then I joined you guys. And then I think with you guys, when I first met Mark, and I even told Mark, because when Greg hit me up to be with you guys, it was I I was kind of like mind blown. Like you guys are, I was like kind of a fanboy when I first heard about you guys, and so it was just kind of like, oh, I get to play with you guys now. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome having you on board, but you had to go and leave us.
Yeah,
So.
I had a sissy it up.
You know.
But I mean, it was cool, man. I mean, it's always good. So, what about anything now? Like, are you trying to release anything solo wise, like acoustic stuff like that?
I've been, here and there. The mic keeps cutting out.
Yeah, sorry, the mic.
Here and there, working on my own songs and trying to put some stuff together. And then me and Mark have been working on some stuff separately from See the Beauty, and that stuff is coming out great. It's kind of hard to find the time, to do everything you want to do musically.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to make it happen. Life happens, work, and everything in between. So.
Now, as far as I mean, I know that you do acoustic stuff. Have you ever considered doing anything else, like bringing it more to like not a heavier sound, but more of like a full ensemble?
Yeah, in certain ways, I think I would like to transition those acoustic songs to more of an electronic feel.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten really influenced by like Glass Animals and
Never heard of them.
Glass Animals.
Yeah.
Really good band. They've been a big influence, and I've always been a fan of pop. I think I used to be embarrassed to admit it, but I grew up loving like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, that's right. Admittedly, you're right on the video. Well, there's nothing wrong with JT. I mean, if you're listening to it during the NSYNC days, then I have to question you.
Well, that's where I started. I mean,
oh God.
But that was back in the Radio Disney days. So.
Oh my God. Now, did you ever call Radio Disney and request a song?
No.
Okay, I have to admit, I did do that once.
But when you'd be playing songs that I really like,
mm-hmm.
I would definitely leave the radio on all day, just waiting for that song to come on again. Probably with some NSYNC songs on there.
Now, see, what I was a big fan of is I was a kid. It's when a Goofy movie came out.
Oh yeah.
And I think what was it, Tevin Campbell? I want to say was his name. And when he came out with like the song, I think it's called like Eye to Eye or something like that. I was a huge fan of it. I still like it to this day. I think because it's like it's our childhood. It's like nostalgia for us. So for me, it was like I remember I used to listen to Radio Disney and like I used to call him, hey, can you play this song by a Goofy movie? I think it's like Tevin Campbell or something like that.
You probably hear that a million times a day.
Oh my God, dude! They're probably like, okay, yes, we know you're like the 100th caller that's calling us and telling us that you want to hear this song. So it was always cool. But then now it's like the music is, it's whatever. I'm not a big fan of the music that's out now. I think it's because it's hard to find good artists that have like that, not even that just emotional connection, but just like a meaning towards a song that's not just about like booty shaking and money.
Oh, totally.
And it's kind of hard to find stuff like that. Like a lot of underground people that are trying to make it, they do have it, but I mean, like when you write, do you ever use like any type of inspiration? Do you use like for me, I use people sometimes. Like I even used a friend that was going through a lot of things, and she was always talking about how the only way to be happy was to be in love with someone. And I would tell her all the time, that's not happiness. Happiness is being happy within yourself and just making the best out of your life, regardless what it was. Because we're all going to be in our low points. Now, how are you going to deal with that low points and bring yourself back up?
Yeah, totally. And, there's those songs that are a little uplifting, and there's those heartbreak songs, and then there's just those depressing songs. I tend to use inspiration from my own life, typically whatever I'm going through at the moment, whatever's on my mind, and I try to put that into my music. And I mean, you're aware of this. Me and you worked on a couple songs together.
Mm-hmm.
And those are yet to come. So.
Yeah, we still got like little mini recordings of them for you guys, so you guys might be able to hear it one day. But now, is there one song in general that you've written? Let's just say within the past couple. Well, we could just say in general, like if your music writing, is there one in particular that you're always like that's your favorite thing you've ever written, like regardless if it's lyrics or just guitar riffs?
Um, I think each of my songs have like a favorite part. There's a part in the song that I really love, whether it be like one line or the guitar riff or how it's structured, verse, chorus, and I really enjoy the transitions. So each song is special to me. I don't think I really have one favorite one. I'm working on it though. There is one track that I've been working on for a really long time that kind of had that electronic feel that I was going for, and it's yet to be finished, but I think about it all the time. So I don't know, that's kind of a hard question to answer. It's not one specific.
Is there like a certain direction that you go with it though? Like, would you say your songs are more like happy, like lifter uppers, or are they more of like a like kind of like crawling through like the darkness of it, of like just like life in general?
It can be both. I think my songs tend to have some sad hope to it, because I put myself through a lot of hellish situations, and I always in the back of my mind had hoped that things would get better. So in the process of writing something, I guess, emo or emotional or whatever, I would try to put a bright spin on it.
Now, did you ever, when it came down to the whole like emo scene and stuff like that, were you ever one of those people that like just had the hair over the eyes, put the eyeliner on,
Oh, totally.
all black and stuff like that?
Totally. I mean, I see better in one eye because of that, probably.
You just kept it going.
Yeah, my nuts probably been constricted more times than I like with those tight pants.
Oh Jesus! What's funny is I try to put on one of those bad boys, it ain't working.
Oh, come on, you got the
it never worked for me, man.
Make even that booty pop.
I mean, like I remember back in the days. This is during the whole like when 18 Visions was out and Avenge and Atreyu were barely coming out and stuff like that. When I was in my old band Vengeance Upon Us, I'm gonna admit this to the world, but I used to wear the eyeliner right on the bottom, just one line on the bottom, one on the other eye, and that's just how we used to perform. It was the scene. So like we had the eyeliner on. I used to wear like a button-up black shirt and black slacks, and then have like a purple tie on. Like it was the thing to do. And now when I look back at it, I'm just like, fuck, what was wrong with me? I mean, it's just like you're trying so hard to be part of the scene and be what people want to see and want to spend money to go see and enjoy.
Oh, totally. There's an image to it, especially these days. I remember used to walking through the aisles and looking at CD cases, and whatever the cover was would be the thing that would grab my attention first. Sadly, and then I would check it out, and if I liked the music, I liked the music. If I didn't, I didn't. But it would always be the cover that would draw me in, what kind of image this band was portraying.
Oh yeah.
And back in the day, I was really into that. I'm jealous that people get to wear eyeliner. It makes the eyes pop.
Yeah, that was always a cool thing. Well, see, my thing, I don't know why. I think I do it now. Now for me, it's a band name. I try to see what the band name. That's what's pulling me nowadays. Like when I heard of Tides of Man, like they didn't really pull me, but I forgot I was listening to something on YouTube, and I was just like, okay, I saw like they had their what is it? They had like the boat in the front. Like, what's what the album's called? The blue one, with the boat in the front.
What was that?
That I'm gonna have to look up because I can't really think about it. Hold on, so let me drop this really quick. See, I'm gonna have to look that up really quick because that's gonna bug me. But yeah, so when I first started listening to them, that was actually the thing that caught my eye, and I think the song was "Not the Love Too."
Oh yeah,
something like that. So
that was the first song I heard by them.
Yeah, when I heard that song, I was just like completely mind blown.
I got you.
Oh, you found it already? Sweet. Yeah. So
it was Dreamhouse.
Dreamhouse, there it is. Yeah. So when that album, I think it was already out for a while. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I found out about that, and when I heard that song and I heard his voice in the beginning, I was kind of like, what was his name? It's Tillian, right?
Yeah, I was the same way, but now he's one of my favorite vocalists. It's funny.
What is he doing anyways? I don't even know. I don't keep up.
Now he's in Dance Gavin Dance full time, and they're just releasing albums left and right. And he also has his solo project going on.
Oh, I'm still a huge fan of Tides of Man. Like, they're just, once again, the word intellectually, like, trained for the music. The way they do it is just, it's, I don't know, man. Like, I always wonder, like, what goes through your head when you write these songs.
Oh, totally.
It's because, like, when I think about it, okay, I'm doing 4/4 3/4. You know, maybe I'll change it to a 5 for anyone out there that knows music. You know, I always just like to just change times, or even just do a time where I can't even count.
Mhm.
That's just how I am personally. And then I hear like the stuff that they play, and it's like magic. It's like so magical. You kind of like get lost in this like realm of music that, like, what are they trying to tell you?
Yeah, I think that's what music should be. You know, it should take you on a journey.
Compared to like these other songs
Mm.
nowadays.
Yeah, you know, I like a song that has depth in it, and that the lyrics were, you know, you can tell that they really thought it out,
hmm
rather than just saying baby maybe every other line,
Or hey.
or hey.
What is
Or,
it? These rap songs that,
"Ooh."
yeah. Like, even back in the days, like, ooh, baby, I love you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like they were like real like seductive.
And Britney Spears, she had baby in like every other song.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I mean that was what we're talking about, the pop era.
Yeah.
Because that's when okay, now this is what I'm thinking about, when the boy band era. Because one reason I know this because of my sister. So I remember she was listening to NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees. There were some other ones too. Fuck. Anyways, there was other ones, and I was just like, I used to think it was terrible. But now that I think about it, I start to think about how many people wrote one song. Because, you know, nowadays, especially, like, I want to say, you can't quote me on it, like Beyonce and all them, they don't write their own songs. You know, like musicians like us, where we like grind out the hours, the emotions, every single thing that has to be perfect. And you already know, if we record something, that's not right. Let's scrap it, do it again.
Oh yeah, you get a little OCD about it.
Oh my God, it's
you know.
ridiculous. So that's why I always wonder when it comes to these writers, which a lot of songs are still good. I mean, I'm not going to hate, you know, you're making money. But at the same time, it's just like, wow,
Well, that's
60 people took to write like one song.
Well, that's what it's about, you know, and a lot of these like huge artists that are on the radio, you know, they have huge teams behind them, and you know, lots of production goes into it, marketing, and I mean all sorts of things that I don't even know, but that's what these people do for a living. You know, their main goal is to dress this artist up and make them most as appeasing as they can to the audience, you know, to draw the largest crowd possible, to make as much money for, you know, the people working on that project or in that industry, you know. So it's kind of sad. It loses a little substance.
It loses its little its emotion behind it, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, would you ever consider writing for like someone else? Like, would you ever write something and be like, hey, you have like a better voice to me, or better, like, let's say sexual figure, because it seems like sex does sell no matter what. So would you be willing to like write a song and be like, here, I wrote this about a girl, but we're gonna make it seem like you wrote it about like some dude?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I used to be against that because growing up, I mean, I always had that dream of being like an artist and being able to have my face be out there. But now, you know, it's not as well. It was never really super realistic, but it was, you know, it's more just a dream now. I would still like that, but I mean, just to know that I wrote a hit song, even if it was for someone else, I think I'd definitely be able to pat myself on the back about that, you know, knowing I was a part of something.
What about a jingle? Would you ever write a jingle for a commercial?
Yeah, that'd be fun. I mean, I don't know how good I would be at it, but I would give it a try.
I always think of you ever seen the movie Juno?
Yeah.
I think I always forget his name, like Michael Bateman or something like that. The actor, the dude, where they're in his kitchen and he goes and she like starts singing a certain jingle, Ellen Page, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I wrote that." She goes, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, it paid for this kitchen." And I always think about that part because I'm just like, imagine just writing a jingle and you make so much money off that jingle and it's being used for so long that it's like, Oh yeah, like I bought my house with just that one song that I wrote that's worth like 25 to 35 seconds
Oh,
long.
totally. I'm sure people made like, probably paid for their life and their kids' life, off one song. You know.
It's like it's ridiculous, man. I mean, I just feel like the music business is so hard to be in, but once you're in, you're in that fight for your life. But I mean, that's pretty much anything
Yeah.
if you think about it. But I don't know. Like I said, music is very inspirational, very touching, um, very memorable too. Because I mean, if you hear a song, like for me, if I listen to the song "Reasons" by Earth, Wind and Fire, the live version, the first thing that goes through my head is when I was a kid, I used to sit down and play Super Nintendo, and I used to play Super Metroid. And every time I was playing that, I would hear oldies that one of my older brothers would be playing in the other room. He'd be hanging out with some of his friends. So every time I would hear the song "Reasons," I would always think about that time of me sitting in my room just playing games, because I like that song so much that I think about that. And then another one is Smashing Pumpkins. Was it Tonight? Tonight, is that the song?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Maybe.
But
I was never really a big fan of Smashing Pumpkins.
well, you know what? Me neither. I think that was like the only song that I actually did get into. But you know what? I'm gonna look it up because I want to make sure I don't get that wrong. And people are probably yelling at me like on YouTube or whatever. Whoever's watching this or listening on SoundCloud, they're probably just yelling at me like, "Dude, you're so wrong. Like, get your shit together." So I mean, it's pretty much it. Let me see.
Feel free to tell him too that he's wrong and get his shit together.
Yeah, I need to. Oh yeah, so it is Tonight. But yeah, it's like that song, dude. Like I remember having a little stereo and playing that album. It was like a double CD album, like fucking real thick. And I remember sitting there just putting that song on repeat over and over again, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Just listening to it. I don't know why. I think the violins and stuff was doing it for me.
I got my songs like that too. Especially when I was younger. I remember, I think the second CD I ever had was POD.
Oh, shit.
And with that I Feel So Alive song, oh my God. I heard that so many times.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're never going to get tired of it, but one day it's just, turn that shit off.
You're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Call it a day. Yeah, well, do you remember what was your first album you bought, though? Like, first CD?
First CD I ever had was Reliant K. We were a Christian band. I grew up in church, and for a long time when I was younger, my parents didn't allow me to listen to like a lot of secular music, and I was just confined to whatever I found in the Christian bookstore that we used to go to. I remember I used to be so happy when Evanescence was considered Christian for like a brief moment.
Amy Lee.
Oh my God.
I had a big crush
That
on her in high
wake
school.
me up inside. Oh God, I played that CD out so much.
No, her voice was just spectacular.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That was the first CD. And where'd you buy it at?
Some Christian bookstore. I think it was called The Lighthouse. I don't even remember where it was at, but I was always into music since I was young. I remember when I go there, my dad would be walking around looking at books, and I would go grab like a stack of CDs, and he had these little boom boxes you could sit there with headphones. And I remember one time too, I was just like a little kid, and I'm just like singing along to the music, and when you got the headphones on and you can't really tell how loud you're singing.
Yeah.
And then my mom walks up to me and she's like, "Shh, you're singing loud."
She's like, "Hey, you're embarrassing yourself. Stop."
Basically.
Does that make you feel old when you have to think about like that's how we found music?
It does.
And that's just our generation.
Yeah.
That's not saying like back in the days, the generations of like learning about songs and stuff like that and just bands.
And that wasn't even that long ago. I mean, I'm 26 now. I remember when I was 16, 17 years old, CDs was just everything. They didn't have MP3 players inside your cars. And every single check, every single time I get paid, I go straight to FYE or
Warehouse?
Yeah, or Tower Records or whatever.
Oh yeah, Tower.
And just spend like $60, $70 on CDs, and God, I live for that, man. And then I'll just play those CDs out. And yeah, I've always been a fan of music. I started playing drums when I was 11. Got into guitar because I started wanting to write my own songs, and so my brother used to go out with his girlfriend a lot, and I used to sneak into his room and take his guitar and just like watching out the window, waiting for him to get home so I could run back inside his room and put it down so he wouldn't notice. And he was such a dick. I remember after he caught me taking his guitar a lot, he had another guitar, and I was super pissed because I was like, "You have 2 guitars. Why won't you let me play one?"
Mm-hmm.
And so he took the guitar and he said he sold it, and I was pissed. I think I probably cried at the time. And he hid it, and then he brought it out and he gave it to me for Christmas. So,
Damn.
Yeah.
What a nice brother.
I know.
Just put you through all that suffer.
I know. What an asshole. He wouldn't be a brother, I guess, if he didn't. You know, that brotherly love.
Now, would you say him giving you that guitar kind of like paved your way to become a guitarist?
Oh, totally.
Moved you away from the drums? I mean, I know you still play drums now, but I mean, do you have more of a passion for a guitar now?
Yeah, more than I did. It's funny though, because I did definitely drift away from drums, and I really got into guitar for a while, just because I like being able to create melodies and being able to structure things, and you know, you couldn't necessarily do that with drums.
What about vocals? When did you get into doing vocals?
I'd always hear melodies in my head. I'd be in the shower, and I just, you know, I was really into like pop music and stuff like that, so I'd hear a lot of pop vocals and just, you know, different bands I would listen to. And then around when I was 18, not 18, maybe around 20, I really got into Jason Mraz.
Oh yeah.
And he inspired me, and I really, really wanted to do some music like that. So I started messing around with some jazzy kind of chords, and I wrote my first song. It was like called "Spell on Me," and the whole chorus is like, "Baby, I'm on my knees," and it was just like super cheesy, but I love that song. I still play it today, and yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to hear that after this podcast, right? That's technical difficulties, guys. Sorry.
There we go. We're back.
I think it's one of our cables is just acting up, but yeah, I gotta hear that once it's done.
You will.
Yeah, good, cause
I'll sing it to you and look right in the eye.
Because I think for the longest that we've talked, I've never heard this until now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
No, I've never heard anything about you writing this song, so it's just like very interesting. First time on the podcast, guy.
It's on
first
YouTube.
time.
If anybody wants to listen to it, just go to Spencer Chase and --spell on me. You guys could find me in my room with a shitty camera and me singing my heart out.
Was that the hair over the eyes?
No, this was when I started tying my hair back, actually. So.
Did you ever have short hair and spike it?
I did. I was.
Wear puka shells?
13. Oh yeah, no, not puka shells. I used to wear those metal, you know, those metal balls.
The one all the gangsters wear?
Oh, I love those. I had like several necklaces. I wear one, and then I had this one that was extra long. I used to wrap it around my wrist like twice, and I had the wallet with the chain.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was a G.
I always wanted one of those, but I think I just never got one. Not that I could remember. I think I probably had one, and I just never used it. I think I didn't like it. I didn't like the feel of that steel just constantly hitting my leg.
Yeah, well, one good thing is that it keeps people from stealing your wallet. But
that is true. That is true. But I think because I've always wore shorts my whole life, they never really had belt straps.
Oh. Yeah.
So there's no point in me having one of those.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, that's crazy, man. Like I said, I've never really heard that side, so it's kind of interesting to know that you started from a pop background to where you are now.
Yeah, actually, I never really thought about it, but you know, start backtracking, and then it's crazy to see where your roots are.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the music that we were writing. I mean, I hate to mention, but a lot of music we were writing, we were kind of intoxicated.
Very intoxicated.
I mean, for anyone that's that decides to watch us or listen, we wrote a lot of songs that just had to deal with. I want to say, I mean, I hate to bring this up, but we were taking pills, and we were writing a lot of music, and the music we were writing, I want to say it was really fucking good though. Like there was one song that we wrote that I can't remember. It was talking about something about like drowning in like an ocean of your tears or type of thing. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, totally.
And there's that one, and then I don't know. Just don't know what happened to it.
Yeah. Some hard times there, and they kind of carried on. I mean,
let's dip into this one, Spencer. you knew it was gonna happen,
yeah.
So.
Well, Eric knows a little bit. I've actually just kind of got out of rehab and going through treatment right now. You know.
Now, what were you taking though? So let everybody know.
Lots. I don't need to go into the specifics.
Yeah, I said if you don't want to talk about it. We don't have to talk about
Yeah,
it.
we can talk about it. Lots of pain pills, and you know, my drinking started getting a little out of control.
How often were you drinking?
Every day, like all day, every day, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed.
Like, what about lunch breaks? Did you have work?
Yeah, you know, hopefully nobody from work is watching this.
And then, nah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not popular, so I think we're good. I'll probably have like 2 people streaming, and that's about it.
But yeah, you know, it got a little out of control, and some things happened, and made me kind of look at myself in the mirror, and I kind of stopped giving a fuck, and I just really opened up to my parents about it, and was just brutally honest about everything I was doing, and you know, it was destroying me from the inside out, and for a long time I didn't really see any way out of it. I felt like I was just stuck, and you know, I was dealing with several things on top of it, you know, depression and stress, and you know, all sorts of insecurities, and you know, this was my way to numb it out, you know, and so I'm about a week clean from everything.
Nice.
And I'm working on making myself a better person. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it. And, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, even through all this hell, something positive will come out of it. You know, maybe I'll be able to help someone who needs it. I actually wrote a poem recently.
You're more than welcome to read it if you want,
Yeah,
man.
read
If you
that.
want to read it, yeah, sure. I mean, like something like this, like I said, I know if you didn't feel comfortable talking about it, it's perfectly fine. But I mean, this is something where, you know, if anyone listens to this, and if you do have anything going wrong with it, you know, there's always going to be a positive. There's always a light.
Yeah, there's no reason to be ashamed of it. And
I was addicted to them.
yeah,
You know, like
it's easy, you know. I talked to a doctor, and he gave me some statistics. In 2016, more people died from opiate abuse than people died in the Cold War. That's fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ.
You know? And so that was like self-medication, where in the Cold War, those people didn't have a choice, you know? They were fighting for their country, and that's much more... It's such a more honorable way to die than, you know, to go through something like this. But in saying that too is, you know, for anyone who hasn't taken this stuff, I'm sure you probably know someone who has, and you know, it's something you should be really what's the word, you know,
cautious,
sympathetic
that too,
towards that person, because it's hard, you know. You get stuck, and your body becomes dependent on it, and it gets to the point where even if you want to quit, it's not that easy anymore. It's not that easy to just say, I'm not going to take it, because now you're dependent on it. Now you're sick if you don't. Now, you know, all sorts of symptoms, you know, depending on how bad your issue is, you can go into seizures trying to quit, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. And if you are looking to quit, I highly recommend asking for help, because I tried for the longest time to do it by myself, and it was not easy, and I convinced myself that I could, and I actually did get clean a couple times.
Getting hot. You just keep eyeballing yourself in the camera.
I just noticed I had like my hair like little alfalfa.
Oh, I mean, but that's good though, man. You know, like I dealt with it personally by myself when I was taking Xanax and painkillers. You know, to the point where I remember hearing that I was passed out in my chair, and my mom said that she couldn't wake me up for like 15 minutes because I was just there bleeding from my nose, just passed out.
That's scary stuff.
And that, yeah, so like that day, just it changed everything. I mean, I know I bounced back and forth taking them and not taking them, and for a while it was for the pain, but then it started to become more for the feeling. Like, you know, it's just that there's no rush to it. For anyone that hasn't taken it, there's no rush to it. It's just that feeling of knowing that pretty much like nothing could hurt you. Like you're like I felt indestructible. Like I could get through an entire day. I'm pretty sure you did too. You're just like,
Yeah.
this is what's gonna help me cope. You're not gonna feel anything, no matter what it was. If there was some type of emotional like bust that's gonna hit you that day, it wouldn't affect you.
Totally. Like I remember the first day I ever took it, I was scared to death taking these things, but I don't know what made me decide. I wish I could go back in the day and slap my younger self in the face. But I remember like I'm just gonna try this, and I was scared to death. I thought it was gonna like kill me or something, and I took it, and I was already going through a lot of like heartache at the time, and a lot of emotional problems. And I remember taking it and sitting there playing Call of Duty, and 30 minutes later it kicked in. Everything got brighter, and I just felt some state of euphoria. But as cool as that sounded to me at the time, I remember taking it over and over and constantly trying to recreate that feeling of euphoria. And it's not that easy after a while. You get stuck, searching for that and trying to recreate that, and you lose sight of a lot of important things that you should have been doing then. And anyway, I'm happy I've taken some steps. I lost a lot of time, abusing this stuff, and it's not good. And once again, reiterate, and no one should ever be ashamed to ask for help. And I encourage you highly to let it go, because you can be a better person. You save money, you're healthier, and
Especially like your bones and muscles and stuff like that. Like it just starts to deteriorate you like little by little.
totally, and nobody needs that. No, we were made to soar in this world. We don't need any shackles holding us down. Right?
That's very cool. I like that. Well, I mean, it's just if you want to feel that feeling, smoke weed.
Yeah.
Just
I
do
have no
that.
problem with weed. Unfortunately, with the program I am in right now, I have to stay completely sober. That's
such an interesting word.
Bit of a bitch. But
hey man, but you're going strong. I mean, to be honest with you, even when you were taking it before you went to go, cleanse yourself, I did not even know that you were on them.
Yeah.
You were just like the normal person. So like it's hard to tell who is on it.
It is.
Just because it's like I already know with me, there's times where when I was doing it, I would get a little sluggish. I would get a little slow in my talking. I would kind of mumble a little bit, or like I would get really raspy voice, like when you're extremely tired.
Yeah, and I like that raspy voice actually sometimes.
Yeah. Like that would have been good for like a song, you're like, yeah, baby.
Totally.
So you're pretty good with it, but it's like I used to like talk like this.
Yeah.
And like I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good. Just
Yeah.
getting through the day. But I mean, I listen to a lot of that Joe Rogan and stuff like that, and when they always talk about it, like the big pharma and all that stuff, it seemed like it was so easy to get before, like last year, it was like so easy to get. Everyone had it, and it's funny because now I even just looked at it and the prices just like skyrocketed, and I think that's another thing that made me like not want to go back to it. Besides like mentally being strong, like not needing it, it's just for the fact that it's like $15. Why am I gonna spend $15 to feel good for like a day?
Yeah.
It's like to me, it's like not necessary. If I want to feel good, I'll just work out or something. I'll do a couple push-ups and just go with that, because that feeling I want to. It's not gonna compare to that feeling, but I mean, it's kind of in the different direction. It feels more of like a light than a dark.
Totally. I mean, it's an easy way out, because we're capable of achieving that enlightenment and euphoria without that substance. That's the easy route, and it may seem easy, but it's not easy, because it's going to take you down in the long run. And the harder route is actually going to build you up. It's going to make you a stronger person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good things through struggle. When you work out and your muscles get sore, you start to become bigger, you start to become stronger. When you're strict on your diet and you eat better, and you start to feel better. It's not always easy to make those first initial steps, but once you make them a part of your life, it becomes a part of your life, and it's easier to continue with that.
Well, it's kind of just like I want to compare it to like when you're first learning guitar. You know, you have to constantly practice and practice,
Exactly.
and your hand starts to build that callus on the fingers. Especially
Mhm.
when I was playing bass. You know, if I were to play bass right now with my fingers, there's absolutely no callus on my fingers. So it's gonna start building up again. It's gonna start bubbling up and all that good stuff. So that's how I see it. Is like how you say it's the easy way out. It's like I don't know why I keep saying the word like. I hate that. Um, it's to
Like.
the yeah, it's to the point where it's just be willing to take that extra step and work hard to be like a better person internally, so that way your outer part could kind of like there go with that goddamn word again. So your outer self will show the improvements you did to your inner, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, totally, and it will show. People will be able to see it, and whether you believe in auras or not, you will radiate some kind of energy. What you put inside yourself, what the thoughts you think, your mentality on things is going to reflect on the world, and that's a beautiful thing. And sometimes we forget about it. We don't realize that we have that power in us, and I encourage people to go through those heartaches, those hard times, and analyze them, and think about the really root of the problem rather than ignoring it and shoving it down, because that exists. There's no escaping from it. We need to learn how to deal with it, and yeah.
So I want to kind of get to some more things about that, but I know you want to read your lyrics that you wrote, so you're more than welcome to read that. So everybody, ears. Here's lyrics by Spencer.
Bear with me and get your eyeliner ready.
Put your hair over your eye. Get ready for the darkness. Now,
I wish I had some shades or something.
Now, before you read this, kind of give us a. Oh God, here we go. Is that a fedora? It doesn't fit with the headphones. I'll say you want some shades, man. I got my shades right there in the back.
We'll keep the headphones like this.
There you go. You do whatever you want. Okay, so now before you read this, kind of give us an explanation, like why you wrote it, like what kind of state of mind were you in, like what time, what phase were you going through when you actually wrote this, like.
Well, actually, this is really interesting. I was pretty happy with this. The first time I wrote it, I tend to start being critical on myself after the first initial time I write things, and it doesn't have the same impact on me. But it did have a huge impact on me when I first wrote it. It was actually Monday night. That was the first day I was discharged from detox, and I was completely sober, and it was the first time in years that I was completely sober, and I was thinking clearly, and I had this almost nostalgic feeling of when I was younger and when I first started to write, and I was just laying in bed and I couldn't really sleep. I was getting ready for my appointments the next day because I'm still going through the treatment, and I just started hearing like the first lines of this. I started just hearing that in my head over and over, and I was just like, fine, I'll write it down. And then I wrote it. I grabbed my phone and I put down those first lines, and once I put down those first lines, I started hearing more, and it just started pouring out. And I remember I stopped at a certain point and I was like, okay, that's good. And I laid back down and I started hearing more, and I was like, fine, I'll finish it. And I finally finished it, and it was like, after I finished it, I felt like a relief. Like I was like, okay, I got it out, and I went to sleep almost instantly after that. It was a really weird feeling, and it's insane how inspiration can just hit you out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, and I think there's some reason for that. That we can come to those places. Maybe it's fate or some divine entity putting these words in our mouth, because maybe it's supposed to help someone. I actually showed someone this today in my class, and he told me to send it to him, and he sent it to one of his friends, and that made me feel cool, because he apparently wasn't really into stuff like this, but it was motivation for him, and he got something out of it, and I didn't expect anyone to get anything out of it. So anyway, that made me feel good. Maybe someone watching will get something out of it. And
Now, are you gonna just read the whole thing? Do you want to break it down? Like, how do you feel more comfortable doing it?
well,
I mean, you could just read the whole thing you want.
well, I'll just say some things to kind of keep in mind while I'm reading it. It's not super long, but the way I was thinking about it, the first part is it's kind of dark, and it talks about, I mean, it does. You don't see any sort of light in the beginning of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then midway, it kind of talks about how I was, brought out of this, even though it's still fresh. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's how I was feeling at the moment, and I was brought out of it, and things were resonating in me that I felt like, we could work together, and I started realizing that I'm not the only one going through things like this, whether it be drugs or emotional problems or any sort of thing. We all have our vice that we turn to, our out. Well, I want to say outlet. Outlet is more of a positive thing, but our escape.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like the key to like a better feeling.
yeah, so I kind of broke it down to 3 parts of my dark time, how I got out of it, and then in the end, it's more speaking to whoever's listening, that to raise us up. Anyway, so I don't have a name for this.
Maybe someone listening, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I got a name for this."
Yeah, if you have a name, feel free to
They're
drop
gonna
it
have
in a
something.
comment or something, or take it, use it. I don't care.
Yeah, that
Whatever helps.
sounds sexual.
Oh yeah.
All right, go right ahead, man. I'll keep quiet.
All right. Through the sleepless nights and the fire of hell, where death loomed behind the eyes and pain slept.
Oh.
Let me start that over.
Mic problem.
Through the sleepless nights and the fire of hell, where death loomed behind the eyes and pain slept in the brain, where the tunnel closed and no one seemed to be home, there was a burst of light that made me whole, a shudder in the wind that spoke to me, a peaceful breeze that carried me, and my endless end was my begin. My hopeful cry rose to a roar, my sleepless nights turned to growing might, and the hell I was in let me help a friend. I hope to those to who it may concern that we stand together in this never-ending battle. I am not, we are not alone. I shall not, and we shall not be ashamed. Together we won't be afraid. Together we won't be in pain. And together we shall rise to grace.
So beautiful. It sounds like a letter. If you think about it, it sounds like you're writing a letter to like.
It was more of just me
Agreed.
spilling my thoughts at the time. I just need to put it down. So I don't know exactly what it was. To me, it kind of. I mean, I wish I could really emphasize on certain parts, because I almost hear it like a spoken word.
Well, yeah, that's why I see it as kind of like, okay, if you were reading a book and they had like a certain statement or something like that, or someone was speaking to like an entire audience of people and trying to like encourage them or just give them the light to something, like that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Because when I read it earlier, I just kind of just read it and read it and read it, and a little bit stuck to me. But now that I actually heard the way you actually set it all up, now I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it sounds like to me.
More sense.
Oh yeah, yeah,
more
it makes a lot more sense. So yeah, man, that was beautiful. I feel like I should like give you like the the poetry things, give you the click clacks.
Yeah, so hopefully some people liked it, and if people didn't like it, that's cool too. And if you didn't give a shit, that's cool too.
I mean, for the most part, some people will go through it personally. Some people will go through it maybe family or friends. We all kind of go through the situations differently. I went through it with my brother, so for me it was more of like my blood, just kind of seeing him be at the top of his game when we were younger, and just slowly start just chiseling away at his own life. No matter what it was, he was just chiseling down, and it was kind of sad to see. I mean, he's doing great now, which is good. He's back on top, pretty much doing whatever he has to do, but the only thing you could do is just, I never say pray, because I don't. So to me, it's just more of like be hopeful, try to give as much positive energy as you can to the person, regardless if if they're going through a good or bad, because we're only human. We have to go through different situations day by day. Whether you're a fat dude, that has me, like I deal with eating, but I love hamburgers, or just someone that just has to deal with constant bullying or whatever it is. We all have to deal with different situations, and the best thing to do is be as positive as you can, no matter how dark your path may seem. I'm guaranteeing you there's gonna be a door at the end that's gonna open up. It's gonna be light.
Exactly. And I hope that people come to a realization sooner than later that we're all in this together. Because imagine what we would be able to accomplish if we all came together, as a society, as the human race. The things we would be able to accomplish, we would be unstoppable. I mean, we'd probably already be to Mars.
United, we must stand.
United we stand, divided we fall. Abraham Lincoln said that.
Like, there's a lyric by what's the band? As Tall as Lions. They say it's better to die on your feet than live life on your knees.
Yep.
I just love that line, and that's very inspirational, because it's like, it is kind of saying like, are you trying to take the easy way out, or are you trying to work hard and stand your ground and pretty much be the best person that you can be? Because no matter what, the universe is going to constantly just break you down and break you down. It's up to you to just face defeat and just say, fuck it, I'm done. Be on your knees, suck the universe's dick.
Yep.
Or you're going to stand your ground and be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to just take the beating like a champ. Just keep going with it.
Keep going, learn from it,
Yeah, so
never let it get you down. I mean, it's gonna hurt like hell, but it's gonna let up eventually,
Yeah, no matter what it is, if it's financially, then there's gonna be a route to get you out of there financially. Whether it's emotionally or if it's physically, there's always gonna be a route to take you out of there. If you see it as there's no way out of your situation, then you're quitting. And that's one thing you don't want to do, is quit. What you want to do is just keep going. I didn't have a car for years. I dealt with it. What did I do? Take buses, if I had to get somewhere. Now I do. Why? Because, I kept driving, I kept pushing, I kept going for it. I was lucky enough to get it as a gift, but at the same time, it's like, I still had to put money into it. I still had to make my way so that way it'll work. Even in jobs, unless you're blowing your boss or something, if you're trying to make it to the top, you want to get a raise, you got to raise him up,
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's just hard work. But what's crazy? Even though I felt like the conversation of talking about like the addiction stuff like that was kind of like a Debbie Downer, like really dark, it still felt very positive.
Exactly. There's always a light at the end of that dark tunnel,
Yeah,
no matter how small it is, you just gotta keep walking.
It's nice, and you're proof. My brother's proof. I'm pretty sure there's thousands of other people that are proof that no matter what, you could get through anything. You could get through addiction, something that's controlling your brain and just making you feel and think what it wants you to feel and think.
Definitely.
And remember, we wrote a song about that too. When we were both taking pills for a while, we wrote that song about the pill talking to the person, saying, I'm roaming your grounds and pretty much taking you on this trip.
Yep.
And then the chorus came to the point where it was the person that was using it talking about, I accept it. I'll pretty much go wherever you take me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy, man.
Some dark times there.
Oh, dude, extremely dark. But you know what? We're both clean. We went to the liquor store earlier. We could have literally bought a beer if we wanted, but we didn't.
Yep.
No need. Got water and muscle milk because I'm trying to get buff.
Yep.
It's not gonna work drinking beer, having those empty carbs. But yeah, well, I'm glad you're doing better, man. So those lyrics those words are very
whatever they're gonna turn into something. Hopefully,
I'm pretty sure you'll be able to figure out something with that. Next thing you're gonna write a riff, and it's just gonna kind of just whoop. Yeah, it's gonna just pop in there.
I hope I can continue just writing.
Well, regardless if you do anything with that, anyone that listens and stuff, I'm pretty sure you have the support of even people you don't even know. Like, this is, like I told you before we started doing this episode, regardless if we talked about it or not, how dark it may seem, how positive it may seem, it's more of like a awareness and just to help people have a positive attitude and comes down to life.
Yeah, totally. What people should remember too is get out of this life what you put in. And I was, I must have sowed some good seeds because I'm extremely grateful for all the support I've had from my family, my friends. It's just been unreal. I couldn't have done it without them. And while I was in detox, I heard several people's stories of those brutal things, like kids or people who were 15 getting on heroin and meth and joining gangs and killing people and going to prison at the age of 17, and you're thinking about you have the possibility of life, and that's robbing someone of their potential and what they can contribute to society, or even what they can just do for themselves. And it's so sad that people get lost in that. And we should just be as supportive as we can to anyone we meet, because we never know what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on in their life. You may have a manager at your work who's just coming in always in a bad mood, yelling at you, and it's hard to get past that moment where they're just pissing you off because they're just nagging the shit out of you. But if you take a step back, maybe not, this isn't always the case, but a lot of the times it probably is. That's that anger, that what they're reflecting on you is probably coming from someplace, or it's a big possibility it is. So just keep that in mind, and let's do what we can. Like I said, sow some good seeds and try to
We're all humans.
Exactly.
We're all making mistakes day by day.
Exactly.
The moment you wake up, you could be like, God damn it, like today is just not gonna be my day. But if you were to have, okay, let's just say if you go into work, you're having such a bad day, but you're gonna have that one customer that's having a great day, the chances of them canceling out your bad day are high.
Oh, very.
So it's like, there's been times where I walked into my work, I'm like, fuck, I don't feel like being here today. I'm standing there, I'm just like, okay, whatever. And there was one day, I think it was like a few weeks ago, I had an older couple come in from like somewhere overseas, like they were British or something, and they were the nicest old couple ever. They bought a good amount of stuff, but the love they had for each other was so positive, and just like their humor, it kind of fed off into me, and it just completely changed my day.
Yeah.
Because I woke up just like, why am I here? I know why I'm here. Why do I have to be here? I know why I have to be here. So a lot of negativity was going on, but just seeing how they were and how they reacted to someone like me that was having a bad day, like my emotions or anything like that didn't bother them. They were so overpowering that from then on, my day was just great. And I had nothing but great customers after that.
That's beautiful.
And, I had, making sales left and right, which that doesn't matter to me. I'm all about customer service. And just, it was good. Like that whole day, I just felt great. And like, even like the day that I went to go see Cody and Cambria and Deer Hunter, it was like 2 weeks ago. I was having such a great, I just woke up positive. Everything was going good. I got to work on time. I worked out beforehand, and then, I was making sales. My numbers were up. I got to leave early, so I was beyond my sales. And then, I met up with Mark and Jasmine. We went to get McDonald's and stuff like that. So everything was going perfect. And I even said, man, today feels like a perfect day. Like, everything was going so good. But for anyone that's watched Married with Children, like Al Bundy says, even though you're having a good day, something bad's going to happen.
Murphy's Law.
Yes. So, I'm going having a good day. And what's the one thing that happens to me? By the time we get to Hollywood, to the show, I check, I don't have my wallet. And I need my wallet because I need my ID, not only to, if I wanted to have a drink, but to get my ticket that I paid for VIP and all that stuff. So that just put me in like a terrible mood. And I was stressing out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to show my identification? So I started thinking of ways to do it. And I was still pretty kind of negative about it. But I was like, you know what? I think this is going to work. I had my phone bill that had my name, my address on there. I had my ticket on my email. I had my payment card on my Chase account. Everything set up. I was like, this has to work. So as soon as I went up to the window, I was just honest to the lady. I was like, hey, I'm in a bit of dilemma right now. I forgot my wallet. It has all my stuff in there. I go, but I have different forms of identification to prove who I am. And she was like, she goes to the outside. She goes, I couldn't hear you. Explain it again. And I told her. She goes, do you have Facebook? Yeah, I have Facebook. She goes, show me your Facebook. I was like, oh, this girl trying to holler at me? What's up? So I go on Facebook, and it shows a picture of me, and it shows my name. She goes, oh, okay, no, that's fine. She goes, what's the email? What's the mailing address? If you could verify that. So I tell her my address. She goes, oh, you're fine. Here you go. She gives me my pass.
Dope.
And I was like, fuck. Like, the whole time I was thinking just extremely negative about it. It's just, I still kept that little bit of positiveness to be like, you know what? Maybe this is a chance. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe I didn't waste a time coming all the way over here. And it was great. Dude, I was like so stoked. And then that was probably one of the greatest days. Well, I mean, I've had a lot of great days, but that had to be added to like the folder or the scrapbook of like days that, like, no matter what, if you stay positive, there's bad things that can happen, but the positiveness to still overcome them. Yeah, so I don't know. Like, even with the microphone right now, we keep having technical difficulties, but we're still having a great conversation around of stuff.
It's like working 95% at least, you know.
Hey, at least when you were telling your whole story and stuff like that, I mean, I guess I could hear you in my headset. It sounded perfectly clear to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can still hear me on yours. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's something I'm going to have to figure out. I thought I was well prepared. This is my first time. I mean, I always travel when it came to the other podcasts, a little 8-bit of everything with Tony. And I'm always prepared when it comes down to what I have for podcast stuff. And I thought I was prepared this time. I guess I wasn't. So fuck.
Trial and error, you know.
Yeah.
First time.
And there goes that. See, there's that negative thinking. Fuck, man. I thought I was good in this whole time. But you know what? Regardless of all that happened and the microphone going off on us, I mean, it's still going fucking smooth. Yeah.
The only thing that would be horrible is if you never push record.
Ooh, you can't be telling me that. Oh, fuck, man. Oh, technical difficulties.
Hello?
There you go. I hear you. You're good.
If you didn't push record, we're not doing this again. I hope you know that, right?
Fuck that. It would have been more of like all right, so we just had a conversation and we just kept looking at ourselves in a webcam.
I know.
Like webcam girls.
At least we got that brief, like, seconds. Oh my god, this thing is just...
Yeah, it's alright. We can start wrapping it up if you want, because that thing's acting the fool right now.
It is acting a fool.
Well, you know, this is episode 1. The new name, Verbally Harassed.
Because stop verbally harassing me, Eric.
That's why I did this. That's why I had the name for it. Hopefully, I want to see if I can get Carlos in for episode 2 tonight. If not,
tune in.
If not, then it will be another night. I gotta find another night that I'm free to do this. So, but I'm down to end it for the first episode. See, how long did I tell you it was gonna go?
I don't know. It's been like an hour almost.
Yeah, a little over an hour. So I mean, that's pretty good for the first episode. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could keep going, talking about random things, but that technical difficulty is killing me.
Yeah, and this water's starting to go through me, so...
You got a pee-pee?
Got a pee-pee.
You got a pee-pee, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, for anyone that's watching on the YouTube, you can find that name right there. You could add on YouTube, subscribe, SoundCloud. You know, feel free to follow. I will soon have a Twitter, a Facebook, and I think that's pretty much it when it comes down to social media. Do you want anyone to follow you on social media? Do you want to promote yourself out there for anything?
I'm not doing anything crazy, but if you want to follow me, I'm always down to make new friends. So follow me on Instagram. My username is Spencer Chaser. Pretty easy to remember.
What about Match.com?
Secret.
He's single, ladies, or men, or
I promise
Z's.
I'm not this white. It's just the light.
Yeah, we'll get that light adjusted next time too. I was gonna say ladies, men, Z's. What is the other one, like cats or whatever? Transgender. You know, he doesn't discriminate or hate on anyone else, so you're good to go. Any color, he'll take it.
Got it.
Yeah. So and then what if they want to follow your music, your band, anything like that?
You can find us on SoundCloud. We have Facebook. We have Instagram. We're on YouTube. It's See the Beauty. C is spelled like the ocean. SEA. The Beauty. And You know, if you follow me, I'm sure I'll keep you informed on any other music I plan on releasing. And
Or even your personal one. You know, what if someone wants to keep updated and see how you're doing as far as with your
yeah, I mean, my
rehab?
recovery isn't
Yeah,
something that I'm
recovery.
going to be putting out there all the time, but you know, if you ever need someone to talk to, you know, I'm more than happy to talk to you and
Ooh,
you know,
you're becoming
help
a
out.
you're becoming a what is it? You were the student and now you are the teacher.
I still got a long way to go, but you know, we're all struggling in this, and you know,
Do it together.
exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for episode 1, and we'll catch you on the next one. So yeah, peace. There you go, little fat kid.